All right, you guys, so Scott is looking at a gelding that he has a little bit of history on. This is like a 13-year-old rodeo horse. He runs barrels. He clocks great. He's been a head horse in the past. He's turned steers. And a lady purchased him. He rides great. He rides out and about great. But through the barrels to the left, he bucked. So he did it around the second barrel, and then one time he did it leaving the third barrel and bucked all the way pretty much back home till he bucked her off. She thinks, Scott, in her opinion, that it was an attitude issue because she said when she came off of him, he stopped bucking. So she was like, he was just bucking to get me off. I don't think it's a pain issue. But that's not always how that works. So Scott is going to give his diagnosis because obviously, now they did x-ray his spine. So just so we have some clarification, there are x-rays of his back and it was not said to be kissing spine. And he had had the hocks injected. So hocks have been injected. There was no visible sign of kissing spine in the back. So she said that sometimes he does drag his toes really bad unless she really gets after him, and then he'll pick them up. But unless you get after him, a lot of times he'll drag the toes. He's got some strength back there. So what we're trying to do is, I just took him in on trade. So he was traded to me. And instead of, it's a little wonky. I mean, he has kind of a weird response. And like, then he'll pull back. But I haven't told, I mean. Oh, okay. Cole, can we borrow you?
Wait till she gets there.
Oh, you think he looks so sedated to me? Just so you guys can see, Paula's guy here got his feetsies done. This horse has a good mom. And this isn't her first one. He has the best mom. And I'll kind of explain this here in a second. Why Scott chose to go that route. And it's not permanent. I think people sometimes worry that feet stuff is permanent, but no, it can be rehabilitated also. See, he's just dead lame. Yeah.
Stifle.
It is the stifle. Do you think we need to shoot pictures of it? Let's do it. So they had injected his hocks. They had done quite a bit as far as kissing spine, looking at him for kissing spine. Nope, I don't think there's radiographs of the stifles.
Yeah, I mean,
she was told by one vet that he thought maybe it was up in the hip, but that's not a hip.
No, I can feel it.
And with the way that he kind of has some, would you go ahead and treat him too? Because this is what I was not loving, but I mean that doesn't.
If his stifles are that way though,
Yep.
He'll atrophy like
He'll
that.
atrophy.
And you see how he rolls in? I mean, his feet
Yes.
need to be done bad.
Yeah, I don't love him.
He rolls in like that.
Mm-hmm.
If we will.
But I had a really good barrel horse that had a stifle problem, and they must cause some kind of weird pain because when that stifle would bother him, he was a bronc. But he wouldn't just buck till you came off. He was a freaking rodeo Billy Cadillac kind of buck you off. You know what I mean? Like he was. No, she did tell me though that the hocks had been done. So.
Yeah.
But here's another thing I want to reiterate to you guys before you get rid of your really nice barrel horse. Here's the thing, and Scott and I have had this conversation in the past. If you go to the vet and it doesn't fix the problem, don't blame the vet and rush to a different vet. Because here's the thing, when she first took him to the vet, yes, we are now seeing stifles. But on that particular day, he may have been super hocky. We don't know, because a lot of times stifles lead to hock trouble, and if the hocks are the newest thing, that's what will stand out. So you correct the hocks, and then you go back, and then the stifles stand out. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Like, you have to be really patient when you're problem solving, and you have to work really good with your vet. Like, you have to be patient and understand that there's a lot to this, because you see lots of secondary issues. So if you're seeing hip issues or or hock issues, but the whole time it was really the stifle, sometimes you have to make the hocks feel better and the hips feel better, and then the stifle will show up. And Scott may have a better way of explaining that, but it's like secondary issues. So like, you know, this horse all along has had a stifle issue, but when they were working him, because he was compensating to stay off of the stifles, he sored the hocks up. So she took him to a vet. Might have been a great vet, not bashing that vet. You know, they thought maybe hocks, injected hocks, only to find out that for sure, you know, the hocks didn't fix the problem.
What do you call him?
Dunny. But this right here too, Scott, on this side, he's got a big, on this side more than, on the left side more than the other, there's a big atrophy.
Yes.
That's why I was concerned about EPM. School bus. So we're going to shoot a radiograph. Now this is a horse that was taken in on trade. So I traded her 2 horses so that she could ride one and resell one to kind of help her, because she had put a lot of money into this horse. And then I just am going to take over where she left off on trying to problem solve. So has he what? Who? It's a boy. It's a him. It has a penis. It has a penis. So the lady that raised that horse reached out to me, and he is half Frisian, but
Joey?
Yeah, but Joey is not halflinger. He's American cream draft, and he has papers. His sire is an American cream draft, which is a whole other breed, but his mom is a Frisian sport horse mare. So 50% of what they told me was right, but he's not halflinger. He's American cream draft. Yeah, he's still sold. I mean, halflinger and American cream draft are similar.
That's classy healing horse he'd make.
Oh, shut up, Brandon. Brandon's like, they no longer want him, right? They're going to return him.
Yeah.
Like, they just... No, Brandon.
Donate him to me?
Yeah, Brandon's like, can I keep Joey? Brandon's trying to figure out how to keep Joey. Yeah, I think they are risky. Yeah, he did so good with Dylan.
I rode him the day before Dylan rode him.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, to be... Yeah, he's fantastic.
Great, bro.
Like, listen. No. Under saddle?
He drugged me like 20
Yeah, he drug us off. But that's just catching him. That's why he's in the stall
I
now.
should go help or just record.
No, that was risky.
But listen, under saddle, Scott, I told the lady, I've never seen anything like it. In the stall, as long as you keep him stalled, he's fantastic. But when you turn him out, he turns into a feral wildebeest.
Even like Dylan got on him and walked him over all this stuff. He didn't even flinch.
No.
No problem.
Did you ride risky?
Yeah. Ricky was the second
Yes. Yeah, and even Dylan was like, this is a fantastic horse.
Yeah.
This is not new to him. And I was like, oh,
Dylan was getting on him. He looks at him. He's like, he's gonna bust.
no. No, he's the best broke horse on the place. What do we see there? That is awful. What is that? I have never seen the bone knot out like that.
So that's where the medial collateral ligament attaches.
Yeah.
That little calcification right there, I'm not 100% sure, but I imagine it would be a meniscal
Yeah,
tear that's calcified.
absolutely. But what's
Kind
with
of has a
the...
little bit of a cyst. See right there?
Yes. But what about these divots? Like, that's
just, I mean...
my question is, but where it's on the outside, is that like...
That's called an enthesiophyte, which is extension of the calcification of the collateral ligament. See how it's trying to calcify right in here too?
Yeah.
Got blood on my finger.
No, we don't worry about that. They know. So now what? Like, it's like that needed to be addressed years ago. Years ago. Hi, sir.
Yeah.
So, what is the treatment? Where do we go?
I mean, on that...
I mean, I've had some horses with meniscus stuff, and I've never been able to rehab one successfully.
No, I mean, I would shoe him...
Okay.
Like I was talking about with...
Mm-hmm.
I might try injecting that stifle with Winstraw.
Okay.
I got to get some ordered up.
Yeah.
You done?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I imagine the right stifle is similar, but not as bad.
Well, this right here. I mean, you can just tell this horse is compensated and been.
That's a pretty chronic stifle.
Yeah, that's a.
I mean.
So.
You can talk about putting Renovo and stuff like that, but I would be afraid. I think you're going to be spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
We could try to put some Winstraw in it.
Mm-hmm.
Stanlazol, or however you say it.
Stanlazol.
I've had decent luck with chronic stifles with that.
Okay.
And shoeing him.
Okay.
But knowing he's not going to be a 1D
Right.
horse.
Right.
I don't know what his temperament is as far as kid-wise or whatever.
He's a fan. Well, with the bucking. Not anything. I mean, he's dog food. I mean, that's like he's dog food. So that's what we have to decide. Is this something that's rehabable enough that... Because what they said is that when you send him in there, like it doesn't... Yes, he is a 1D horse, but even if you send him in 3/4 or half speed...
If it catches him,
he'll buck you off.
And that, that calcification and that meniscus, that could be catching. It's what's set.
Can they operate on that?
I mean, they could, but I can guarantee you they'll go in there and say that it's bone on bone.
Yeah?
And there's not much left in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like she took a colt, like she took a kind of an unbroke young horse, and because she said like, no, you don't want to sell this to somebody. You know what I mean? Like that, even for me, like that's what Jacob and I were talking about. Like, this isn't something I'm going to offer on my page. Like I can do this vet check live and discuss this because I'm not going to sell him to one of my customers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I could ban it. Like, here's the thing, and this is what I hate about horse traders. You could Banamine him and like take him to a sell barn and tell him he's a 1D horse with some really good videos that people have of him, and he would bring money, and then that's not what he needs. Like, he needs to be fixed or be dog food. I mean, so what we need to figure out is how to fix him, or how to, and if it's not fixable, then he's dog food. Doesn't matter how talented he once was, like, because as he gets older, that's just going to be arthritic, and he's already not sound.
I mean, it is arthritic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's already not sound. Yeah. Will you do me a favor and jog him, because he's not sound? That way people can see, just around, like he doesn't hide it. I mean, he's clearly like he said, I heard.
That's good, Cole.
No, he's a
3 out of 5 solid.
He's a 4.5, Scott. He's crippled. Don't pad that. This is a 4.5 out of 5 crippled, and Scott's like, it's a 3. On a good sunny day when he feels good, he's a 3. Oh yeah, he's crippled. You didn't think she came and got a colt and drove away because he was fantastic, did you?
I was hoping.
I was hoping. Jess was like, Jesus, I got excited. So now what we need to do is just try to decide, with all the therapy equipment and all the things we have here, can we rehabilitate this? Like, if we start to try to rehabilitate it, if we start to try to work with it, what can we do? Yeah, it just turned 13. You can go back on the walker.
He's got probably tore his meniscus at one time, and now it's calcified. There's a flap right there. Then he doesn't have any space on him at all. He's close to bone on bone.
You know, the only one I ever had that was that bad that we did have, I had one this bad, and we did IRAP on him, Scott. How hard is it to, I mean, we did like the whole series of IRAP or whatever. Do you have the ability to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I can IRAP or that was just what I was talking about. I mean, if I was going to do something.
You would do the wind straw over IRAP?
I have really good luck with IRAP, getting like with synovitis, you know, chronic synovitis, colts with.
I had a dash to fame that was bone on bone, and he had a tear in his meniscus, and he had, I mean, it was awful. And Dr. Honus is the one that was like, I can operate on this, but I can't fix this. But he recommended IRAP, and believe it or not, it changed that horse's life. But every horse is different,
Yeah.
you know? He's so happy to be here, Scott. Thursday is his favorite day. Yep. Just so y'all are getting a good gist of what's just, yes. Yes. One thing about it, I don't think you're going to have any worries with him sleeping good tonight.
No, he will sleep.
He will sleep. I bet he'll be asleep before you get home.
I mean, there's several things you could do. I even Hannes has gone. Oh well, I don't want to speak for him.
Right.
I can't. But a lot of us have gone to the Renovo.
Yeah.
It's a pretty neat product. I mean, but you're talking about $800 for an injection.
Right. Right. Yeah, the Renovo is fantastic. I mean, it's something to where we can collectively as a group, I mean, there's hundreds of people that would want to help, like little bits. You know what I'm saying? It would be something that we would just have to have a discussion in our group tonight. Like, is this something that we want to collectively fundraise and put $1,500 or $2,000? I mean, it's going to cost $1,500 or $2,000 to try to save him, period. Like, we're looking at, that's on the, I mean, I think that's on the safe side, you know? So that's what we'll have to decide. Or if not, he's dog food. I mean, he's kind of a pretty old man. But you would try the wind straw first, or would you do the wind straw and couple it with a therapy like Renovo or?
No, I would. If we're gonna do Renovo, I would just do that. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't give him wind straw just in the muscle, like overall? No. Because I've had a lot of horses do great on that. Stifle horses, some kind of muscle sorry horses. So, all right. Okay, well, I will let you know probably by tomorrow, and then that way next week we can have a plan if we're going to rehab it or if Jacob's just going to take him when he comes tomorrow. Hi, sir.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.